Now to the latest in the mayor's race, and the two top Democratic contenders are in a heated exchange over who is most qualified to run New York City and to deal with Donald Trump.
For more on that, let's go to political reporter Marcia Kramer. Hi, Marcia.
Hey, how you doing, Justin and Christine? You know, it's crunch time in the mayor's race, less than 2 weeks until Election Day, the time when all the candidates are trying to take their best shots and exploit the weaknesses of their opponents. Now, when it comes to the top two contenders, they're slugging it out over the E word, experience.
Every job requires some experience. Mayor of the city of New York is a difficult job, and it requires someone who knows what they're doing.
And he was off and running after picking up the endorsements of former Governor David Paterson and Keith Wright, the chairman of the Manhattan Democratic Party. Andrew Cuomo, 67, former Attorney General, former governor, zeroed in on his nearest competitor, Assemblyman Zohran Mamdani, 33, who has held elected office for 4 years. In typical Cuomo style, he mocked what a Mamdani job interview for mayor would sound like.
Okay. Do you have management experience? No. Have you managed 100 people before? No. Have you managed 50 people before? No. You have experience dealing with Washington because we have this fella named Trump who's a problem. No. I have no experience dealing with Washington.
It was a Cuomo-esque way of highlighting his belief that it takes a different skill set to deal with the problems of 8.2 million New Yorkers and 300,000 city workers compared to the 5 staffers and an intern Mamdani employs to deal with the problems of his 130,000 constituents. But Mamdani, who began airing a new campaign ad today,
I believe we can guarantee cheaper groceries, we can raise the minimum wage, we can freeze the rent,
was having none of it.
I think this is a moment when New Yorkers have to ask themselves, what kind of experience do they want? If they want the experience of a former governor whose campaign is being funded by Trump's billionaire donors, if they want the experience of someone who cut Medicaid, who stole hundreds of millions of dollars from the MTA, then their candidate should be Andrew Cuomo.
He says you won't be able to deal with a big bad bully like Donald Trump. Your reaction to that?
I've already dealt with a big bad bully, and his name is Andrew Cuomo. He's a threat to New York City, and ultimately when he was the governor and I came into Albany as an assembly member, he didn't want to tax his donors, billionaires and corporations, to fully fund the schools, and we overcame his objections, raised $4 billion in new taxes to fund those schools. That's exactly the kind of relationship I'm going to have with Donald Trump.
Now, there were other developments in the mayor's race. For example, transit advocacy group Streets PACs endorsed Brad Lander. Now, early voting starts this Saturday. And the primary is less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's creeping up on us, isn't it?
It is. I think we'll all be glad when it's over.
Yeah.
Narrow down that field. Thank you, Marcia.
And stay with us for continuing coverage of the mayoral primary. We have a full voter's guide, including a ranked choice explainer at our website, cbsnewsnewyork.com.